And biodiversity is the amazing variety of genes, species, ecosystems, and ecosystem processes. You've got genetic diversity, which is the very variety of genetic material with a species, within a species or population. You have the species diversity, which means different species are present in, or the number of species present in different habitats. Say, for example, fish, number of species, different types of environments within, say, an ocean or a lake. Okay, human culture diversity is included as part of the Earth's biodiversity by some people. Biodiversity keeps us alive and supports our economy, and biodiversity is a renewable resource as long as humans live off the interest and not the capital. If we want the cake and eat it too, that's not it. Okay, we need to be able to make a cake, maybe make two cakes, eat one cake, and save the other cake for later to make another cake off of it. Okay. I believe that's going to be about it, except for food chains and energy flow in ecosystems. Food chains and food webs, we should know this, okay? Food chains go in one direction, and food webs go in multi directions because they're basically more complex. Let's break it down. Okay, here is a food chain, an aquatic food chain. Start with the phytoplankton at the bottom. What eats the phytoplankton? Smaller zooplankton and krill. What eats the krill? Well, a variety of critters eat the krill, and then humans are way up at the top. Okay, why do you need so many different levels or organisms within a food web? Well, because of the ecological efficiency. Every time you go up, remember this? Every time you go up a food chain level, how much energy is lost? 90% of the energy is lost every time. So you only get 10% of that available energy that is at the trophic level below you. So it's important that trophic levels only go about 3 to 4. 5 isn't very healthy, but 3 to 4 levels for maintaining stability and getting the most out of the energy. The greater number of trophic levels in the food chain, the greater loss of usable energy. And biomass is the dry weight of all the organic matter within organisms as a food web chain is called biomass. So basically, this is the sum of, say, all of the plants in the world, or the sum of all of the humans in the world. That is the biomass for us. Remember, 90% is lost. Only 10% is used every time you go up a trophic level. And here is the pyramid of energy. And as you can see, you start out with about a 10,000. Okay, that's from the producers. Something comes along and eats it, say the consumers, you lose 90%, gone, boom. Okay, then the fish come along and they eat the krill, boom, 90% gone. And then humans come along and they only get this much energy from the fish. So that's 10,000, 1,000, 100, 10 of the energy. And it's all lost because of heat. Every time we eat, we give off heat. Why is our body temperature consistent? Because as we eat and as we use that energy, we expel heat back out into the atmosphere. Earth can support more people. There's a large loss of energy between successive trophic levels, but if everybody ate at a lower trophic level, say we were all vegetarians, the Earth could support more people because you wouldn't have to eat as much because you would be gaining more energy from eating the plants, the producers. Plus, more producers means more CO2 scrubbing by Mother Nature. Here's something we need to talk about: GPP. Yeah, you know me. The gross primary productivity. This is the rate at which an ecosystem's producers capture and store a given amount of chemical energy, okay? And then the net PP is the rate at which all the plants and ecosystems produce useful chemical energy. So GPP is the stored chemical energy and NPP is the useful chemical energy. Because remember, plants have to use some of their sugar to create energy for themselves. So where is the most productive? Swamps and marshes, the most productive of the terrestrial ecosystems. Rainforest is just below it. But swamps and marshes, the most productive of your NPP. And if you were to get into a water realm, it would be estuaries. Estuaries and marshes and swamps, very good for us and our drinking water. They're basically a natural cleaner of dirty water. So by the time it soaks into the soil and gets down into the aquifer, it's been cleaned. But yet, what are we trying to do with something like the Everglades? We're trying to drain it so we can use it for farming, so we could use it for development, urban development. But this is essential for cleaning our water without having to use any sort of energy. And again, just to recap, the sun comes in, photosynthesize, you have respiration, and you wind up getting the energy through the food chains lost every time you go up the trophic level. All right, so the three most productive systems are swamps and marshes, rainforests, and estuaries. The three least are tundras, deserts, scrubs, and extreme deserts. Why? Why are these the most productive and these are the least productive? Let's talk about it in class. Here's just a view of the most productive parts. Green represents highly productive. Orange represents low productive. Okay? And then at C, red and orange, yellow, light blue, and dark blue, highest GPP to lowest. So red means the highest productive, and then the dark blue represents the lowest productive. Normally, highly productive tropical rainforests can't support agriculture as practiced in developed countries. We'll talk about that because the soil is not as good as you think, okay? Swamps and marshes do not produce food that can be eaten directly by humans. However, they feed other aquatic species that humans consume, fish, shrimp, and clams. Humans are using, wasting, and destroying biomes faster than producers can make it. Soil importance. Soils provide needed nutrients for plant growth, and oh, look at that, they help purify water. It's a thin covering that is made up of eroded rock, minerals, decaying organic material, water, air, and billions of tiny microscopic living organisms. Normally, it takes a long time to get a mature soil, and usually about 500 years before we can get about an inch worth of soil. We're going to go over the soil layers. These are called horizons, and they vary in number, composition, and thickness. If you were to look at it, it would be a column. It would start with O, and then it would go A, and then it would go B, and then it would go C. But we're going to get into soils later on and discuss that. Okay. And then your essential questions for your chapter are right here and right here. Okay. Alrighty, if you have any questions, please let me know. And you could always pause it. Hopefully you paused it, go back, rewind, and we'll discuss any questions you may have.